The healthcare community discussion of the nation has finally begun. This all started nearly 20 years ago from the broadcast of the Medical A Team, the undisputed kings of health talk radio. Favorite family dentist Dr. Marlon B. Jackson and favorite family physician Dr. Millard J. Collier. And the legend continues. You are invited to call right now at 404-622-4444 and ask your medical questions because your health is important. And now, Doctors Marlon B. Jackson and Millard J. Collier.
We say it is our job to use mobilization to drive us to organization. You know our theme is organization. We want power. We don't want money. We don't want fame. We don't want fortune. We don't want popularity. We want power. Power. And power comes only from the organized masses.
Get past the people, get past the hitman. Get on that night. I want to get on the foot.
All right. Dr. Marlon Jackson, along with the original hip-hop doc, Dr. M.J. Collier, representing the longest running broadcast in the whole wide world, y'all. Your health is important. Over 25 years. We'll give you the exact date one time, but not today. We're here to keep it real and make it plain. Keep you healthy, free of pain, discussing topics this hour. Because we know that you got to have the power. As you heard on our intro, the system, we're going to talk about hacking the system. And one thing the system makes us think is that we're powerless. Well, now we're going to talk back with the famous, and the phenomenal Randall Avery, who's here to tell us how to get power and how to hack the system. Welcome back, Mr. Avery. How you doing today?
I'm doing good today, Doctor. Thanks for having me back.
All right. Well, one thing we want the people to know is why is hacking the system important, and how do we deal with that? And beginning again, what is the system real quick?
Yeah. The system, people have to understand there are things, people, institutions that don't want you to gain the wealth that you deserve. So how do we approach with our wealth, with our money, if our end goal is to, one, create wealth for ourselves so we can live a lifestyle that we want, and also to pass down money to the next generation. So that's what hacking the system is about. It's understanding what you're up against so that you can win and also prosper.
All right. Well, in the previous broadcast, we talked about things, how the system affects everything from education. And if you read the book, it'll even tell you about how the system reinforces and sustains racism. What about that, Mr. Avery? I thought that was a pretty heavy statement.
Yeah, so racism is prominent throughout America. I don't think anybody can deny that. But the first thing we have to do is understand what is the motivation to have racism to begin with. The first thing we have to understand is since the beginning of time, there have been two types of people. Those who have money and those who don't have money. Now, the ones that have money, they have three main goals. The first one is to sustain and grow their wealth. The second goal is to make sure that their friends and family members can be as wealthy as they are. And the last one is to pass down their lifestyle, things that they like, to the next generation. So it is those things that the wealthy are trying to sustain. So when we think about the system, I want you to humanize the system for a couple reasons. The first reason is to say, one, hey, we can overcome this system. And the second reason is to develop some type of empathy to show that these are human. They bleed just as much as we do.
All right. Well, and as promised, and here he is, the original hip-hopness, Dr. M.J. Collier. How you doing today, Doctor?
I'm doing wonderfully, Dr. Marlon Stinging B. Jackson. We are live in the studios of 1480 WYZE, and we are here to change your financial health. We're going to empower you. We want you to listen because this will affect every generation in your household. The parents, the grandparents, the children, everybody needs to hear this financial message so that we can sustain wealth in our community. Stop turning over dollars less than one time. If a dollar come in, $2 go out, we in debt. We got problems here from that perspective. So we as a culture need to make sure that we are listening to this message because when you have economic success, you have empowerment.
So true, doctor.
404-622-4444, 404-622-4444. Live in the studios of 1480 WYZE. We are here and we are with this. How you say that?
This is RSA Diesel Advisors. I'm a wealth management firm serving clients in the Atlanta metro area and Dallas, Texas.
Okay, RSA Diesel Advisors here giving you financial health. And guess what? Doesn't cost you anything to call in and ask those questions because we know you have them. This man creates the magic. He turns $1 into $10 magically and, again, gives you a stable house. Let me tell you, when all the bills are paid at the end of the month and you still got a few dollars left over, your household is sustained, is successful. This robbing Peter to pay Paul, always trying to figure out how am I going to get through the month. That increases your stress level. Your blood pressure goes up. Your teeth get bad because you're constantly churning that stomach acid, so you're grinding your teeth, and you don't have that $1 million smile, you don't have that breath that gives you an approachability, and things you don't even think about, and that's one of the reasons why. Give us a call right now.
Thank you, Doc. Thanks for that introduction. Yeah, it is so important that we have enough resources for ourselves. It's if you have resources, if you have savings, I've seen this throughout my clients' lives. As they accumulate wealth over time, they tend to think about life differently. They purchase things differently. They think about different brands. They think about sustainability of their family and friends and their network versus just consuming. Once you're in a cycle of constant consuming, that's what traps us, and that's why we cannot empower ourselves. That's been the theme of last 2 weeks ago and this week. How can we empower ourselves to actually win with money?
So when you're empowering yourself to win with money, now being a consumer, and not just in our community, but in every community now, we're not producing anything. We are creating, and a lot of wealth is generated from the entertainment industry, videos and, and live TV shows and reality TV and all that kind of stuff, but no sustainable product that you can do something with and that will have value the second time or the third time. So we as a nation, our whole culture has changed. We used to be steel makers and make everything, and now we import everything. And so we don't have any product that has value around the world. And so now we're a consumer nation. So what we need to do now is if we are consuming, we're generating income no matter what your methodology is. Then what do you do with that income? So let's say, I want you to give us a synopsis on people in various stages of life. Let's say a person just finished college, and so now they got their first real job, and then they're making a decent little amount of money. Hopefully they don't have a lot of debt. And then people that are middle-aged and maybe on their second wife or husband, and, but they still got 30 plus years ahead of them, and then a person that's approaching retirement age, and what can they do at this point to help stabilize their personal finances and keep their home straight, and then talk about passing it to the next generation, methodologies for doing that. Do you just write a big check for the children before you die, wait for you to die, and then the probate court gets all of it? How does it work out?
It's a good question. There are stages in your life when you talk about wealth. And it actually starts before you graduate for college. So a lot of times parents focus on, let me just get my kids to college. But what about how are they going to fund those college? I have clients that have hundreds of thousands of dollars of student loan debt to the point where they will never be able to pay off that amount. So when you think about somebody's wealth picture, their profile, it starts well before they even get into college. So let's pretend like you've done the necessary work to make sure they don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars of student loan debt. After they get out of college, the number one thing I tell everybody is to begin investing, and don't increase your lifestyle up to your income. If you build that habit at the beginning, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars that you're going to accumulate over time. The next thing I want people to think about is, what do you want out of life? Do you want to have a family? Do you want to have a house? Begin saving for those things. Value those things above your vacation. That doesn't mean don't go on vacation, but make sure that there are reserves in place that when you move across the timeline, whether you have a child, whether you buy a home, that there are reserves in place for those things. Now, hopefully you are investing, and hopefully you have enough money set away for your kids, and now you have to begin putting money away for their college, similar and hopefully as your parents have done for you. So the question was, how do I pass down inheritance down to my kids? That begins well before they even go into college. Invest in your kids now. Actually figure out what they want to do with their lives. We are a nation of consumers. Make them producers. Make them actually provide a service, something of value to society, and nurture that even as early as in their teens. People think, having your child work too early, that's child labor. But no, what it actually does is it puts the kids in the mentality of, one, being industrious, being able to make money for themselves, but actually, two, figure out what they want to be. Don't assign college the job to figure out what your child values and how to make money. Show them how to make money well before they go into college. So when you're giving them money as they get older, you can actually say, hey, you want to start your business? Here goes $10,000 here. Here goes $10,000 there. So when you provide them that big windfall of those hundreds of $1,000s, they have the maturity, they have the drive to do something with it, instead of you waiting until you're well off into your age and then passing that income down. And then you kind of say, I don't know what they're going to do with it. They're going to buy a car. They're going to swindle it. But no, you have nurtured that child to be able to handle that wealth.
I have seen grandmothers' whole retirement funds lost buying studio time for their aspiring rapper or rapette.
Oh, I don't even want to get into
granddaughter or granddad.
My sons, especially if one is listening now, they already know about me in the music business. And it's a promising area, but I think as far as music is concerned, they are too focused on the star stage and not the supporting and ancillary services of entertainment. That is where the lasting money is, and a lot of times when they try to go for the Rapper of the Year lottery, and by the way, I want to talk about lottery in a minute, because a lot of times when people talk about, when they get that almost $1 billion lottery, and if you win it, what do you do with it and how do you plan it? I want to hear the answer from you, because a lot of times people say, well, first I'm going to give my mama a house, and I'm going to get this, that, and the other.
And I'm going to tie it to the church.
Right. So what is the appropriate answer for that, by the way?
One, do you know that the lottery system is the number one most common retirement plan? When you just ask anybody, what's your plan for retirement? Well, I'm going to hit the lottery. You're like, okay. What's plan B? And that's what we're talking about right now. Plan B, you hit the lottery, you don't have no problems. But not with the types of money they giving away today. And so there were people saying, when they was running those commercials saying the lottery was like, it's only $18 million, so I'm not going to play. I'm going to wait till it's higher. Well, that I can't do anything with $18 million. I think you could. But, but the reality of the matter is nobody's going to hit the lottery. You need to be planning for yourself. And there's a crisis right now in this country of the elderly who cannot financially support themselves. You got grandmama and granddaddy greeting and meeting people at Walmart because they need money to buy food, because they can't sustain themselves on Social Security. The lifestyle that they had while they were working has collapsed. Sometimes because of family stresses, sometimes because of, having to use money for medical emergencies and that sort of thing. But the bottom line is they can't just sit back and enjoy their retirement. And so that's what we're trying to set you up financially here now. Start planning now, so you live a little now so you can live a lot later, versus trying to say, well, I got to go on a 2-week vacation, because all my friends going on a 2-week vacation. I was having this conversation about, the professional ball players. The average salary is $200,000. The problem is the guy making $200,000 is trying to live like the guy making $200 million. And so he wants to get the same car, the same type of house, and also support all his entourage. And so 3 years later, he out the league and broke, and the millionaire is still living like a millionaire. And that's because he did nothing with the money when he had an opportunity to try to at least start some investments. And in this, good economy that we have, I got to give President Trump credit. The economy is booming. So, no matter what their ideology is, if it's because of what Obama set the stage for, it's because of Trump now, the economy is booming, has been up until the last day or so because of this trade war. But, you said you used the term invest several times. Mm-hmm. Invest in what?
There you go.
So investing is The number one way to create wealth for yourself is through equity. Equity comes in many different forms. Equity can come in the house, real estate, invest in real estate. It can go into stocks and bonds, or it can go in owning your own business or taking partnership in a business. So when we usually talk about investment, as far as a financial advisor, we're really talking about stocks and bonds. So how can an individual begin to invest for their future? First of all, you have to understand it's never too late to begin investing. People say, oh, it's too late. You should have talked to me a couple years ago. It is always the perfect time to begin investing, and that is right now. So how do you invest? They have made investing easy nowadays. There's a lot of technological investments in where you can open up an account with literally 3 clicks of a mouse. First thing you need to do is make sure you have an emergency fund. The quickest way an individual messes up their investment plan is when an emergency comes up and they have to withdraw that investments. That's why I say don't worry about investing in your kid's 529 plan or their savings account, because when an emergency comes, when everybody's back in its turn and you have money invested, you're going to withdraw those funds to make sure, one, you can have a car to go to work, or two, to make sure that that roof on your head is sturdy. So first of all, make sure you have enough savings in place so if a life event happens, you can take care of it and you don't have to liquidate your investments. After you reach that point, you have those investments, go ahead and open you up account at what's called a discount brokerage firm. A discount brokerage firm. That's a brokerage firm in which they charge low fees to actually begin investing. And you can open up account for free. Low-cost brokerage firms, you can include Vanguard, Fidelity, Charles Schwab. There's a handful of great discount brokerage firms. When you think about a brokerage firm, all you're thinking about is a window in which you can reach out and use the money that you have saved to get equity within a company. Equity is the number one way you can grow wealth for yourself. And they have many different funds, and that you can do the research for yourself, or you can reach out to an advisor like myself to help you invest those funds.
All right. Well, excellent information, Mr. Avery, and I'm sure we'll be discussing more of that. Right now, where are our callers at? Do you want to have power over money? Do you want to work for money, or do you want money to work for you? Well, if you want money to work for you, you need to keep listening to this Your Health is Important broadcast, because we're teaching you how to hack the system. Hack the system. So if you hack the system, literally what you do is you create your own system, which is the road toward building and maintaining wealth. Okay? It's one thing to build wealth, but to maintain it, you know, because a lot of times people can get lump sums of money either through a lottery or a settlement from an accident or an inheritance, but it's what you do after you get that counts, because a lot of times people get wealth, unexpected wealth or windfall, and then they just go crazy with the money. And you know the phrase, a fool and his money will soon be parted.
Soon be parted.
Hopefully I'll be right there to pick it up, because I'm going to do the right thing with it.
404-622-4444, 404-622-4444. We are live in the studios of 1480 WYZE. I am Dr. M.J. Collier, your host and family physician, along with
Dr. Marlon Jackson, keeping it real and making it plain, as we have for the longest 25 years, the longest health broadcast in the whole wide world. I'm proud of that, Dr. Kai. I'm really proud of that. I guess people say I'm so sick of Dr. Jackson telling us how long. Well, hey, how many places in the world have tradition? Okay, WYZE has tradition. There's been a lot of radio stations that have come, they've gone, they've been hot.
a lot of hosts that have come.
Right, a lot
gone.
of them I know, and they're not here anymore. But we have been able to thrive, and all because we have a purpose. God allows us to continue to let the listeners know that your health is important. And your health touches many things, just like your finances, you know. And why are we still on that real wheel grinding every day? And for what? And that's what we're trying to share with the listeners now. And please give us a call, 622-4444. 622-4444, because your health is your wealth, and now we're talking about how to make your wealth healthy.
Wealth. We have talked about, we started off with strictly a health show, your dental health and your physical and medical health. And then we morphed into your social health. Then we talked about your political health, and now your financial health. So we are offering you solutions for problems that you're having in life. And you have an expertise unparalleled in the history of financials right here to ask those simple questions. A lot of people are intimidated when they hear, oh, I got to invest, because they think, oh, it's going to take me a whole lot of money, or somebody trying to take my money. Nobody's trying to take your money. And you can invest, something, a minimum portion. You can buy, for the group funds, and whatever it takes. So if a person says, I've had people to come to me and say, well, Dr. Kai, if you could just put $5,000 a month into this, well, if I could put $5,000 a month away, I wouldn't need you. So very few people can make that kind of commitment, and I'm one of them. I could not make a commitment for $5,000 a month. But, is there a formula that you recommend, a percentage of your income, or is there a certain amount? Say, look, if it's just $50 a month, whatever you can do, then start investing.
So let's understand what when we talk about investing money, usually we're talking about money that is unaccounted for. So there's two ways to obtain money that is unaccounted for. The first one is increase your income. The second one is to lower your expenses. That's what's called the gap. And you're going to use that gap, the difference between what you earn and what you spend, to use in investments. So a rule of thumb, the old rule of thumb is you should be contributing up to at least 10% of your income into investments, completely earmarked for your long-term planning. 10% will not get you where you want to be in retirement. What you need is probably reaching more towards 20%. So you should definitely, when you begin going into work, 10% is a solid amount. And if you can do more because you're used to living a college lifestyle, I'll recommend doing more than that. But your goal should be up to 20% of your income should be earmarked for your long-term retirement. That does not include the amount that you're going to invest along with that to grow your wealth.
All right, give them your number and website again, Mr. Adrian.
All right, my name is Randall Levy. I'm with RSA Diesel Advisors. The number is 531-333-2745. That is 531-333-2745. You can reach my website at www.rsadieseladvisorsplural.com. That's rsadieseladvisors.com to reach my website to understand all the services that I offer.
What are all the services, briefly?
Yeah, sure. So there's two main ways I help individuals. The first one is cash flow management. That is the building block of any financial plan, is cash flow. So that's making sure that your income is going exactly where it needs to be. So think about budgeting, but it goes beyond that. That becomes consumer behavior, making sure that you're getting the most bang for your buck. I can't tell you how many times I've looked at somebody's budget and realized they were spending hundreds of dollars per month more on their insurance or different things than they needed to be. Even things like cable and cell phone. And it's usually because they're just not paying attention, because they're not interested in that portion of their lifestyle. That's why they bring in somebody who's seen so many different budgets, so many different cash flows to bring in as an expert. The second way is with investment services. And that traditionally talks about retirement planning. That's putting money away into your various retirement accounts and making sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck. The last thing I help with people do through investment services is I help them create wealth. So once you establish your retirement plan, you're on track to retire the way you want to have that lifestyle. Let's talk about legacy. Let's talk about building a business. Let's talk about your passion and really putting your money to things that you care about. And that's the heart of hacking the system. Create your own system in which that you are passing down the legacy of not only money, but the way you feel about life and how you see the actual world.
All right. So what we're talking about now is financial stability and increasing and widening the gap. Now, you offered two methodologies. One, increase your income, or two, decrease your expenses. So some people are not in a position to increase their income unless they're willing to take a second job or something like that. Their income is controlled by their employment, and they may already be working as much as they can. So they do have control over their expenses. So instead of going to Starbucks and getting a $6 cup of coffee every day, you go to McDonald's and get the 99-cent cup of any size coffee and take that $5 a day, which now becomes actually it's $35 a week for 7 days, times 4. Now you got some money to invest. One simple change such as that. And you can make those changes, and, instead of having every possible cable channel, maybe consolidate and get, the triple play, get, phone, internet, and cable.
Yeah, I think, and like y'all are trying to say is, and a lot of people are just, their brand loyalty is so strong, like Apple, Samsung, iPhone, Jordans, when, hey, what's wrong with kids? Okay, I mean, I know people might talk about you, but guess what? One of the cardinal rules of life is what people think about you is none of your business, especially if you're trying to get power. All right? If you want power, well, you keep doing what you're doing, but if you want power, it's got to have the power with it. Without the power, there ain't no wow.
There you go. I think the most successful people that have made wealth the hard way, they have worked their way up, they're not driving Bentleys. They're not driving Maybachs. They might be driving a little nondescript Honda, but they got money in the bank, and they got a nice, reliable car, and they're not flaunting their wealth on things that have no real value. You know, a car, the moment you drive it off the lot, you drop 20% of the value as soon as those tires hit the street, even though it still got the new car smell in it. So, you know, you buy a car that's 2 years old, you got the same vehicle, looks good, smells good, etc., but you just saved yourself a whole lot of money on a vehicle purchase. And you probably won't have as much trouble getting finance for it as well. But that way you'll never be upside down in your car. So those sorts of things. But investing right now, what you say, you mentioned stocks and bonds. Stocks, would you say the stock market is stable, hot, get in it right now? Bonds, or what are the things you invest in like a city issues? That's the bond.
Municipal
Correct,
bonds.
a municipal bond, right, versus a bond, a bond fund. Okay, so all kinds of little things, but there are people that invest, dollars, just a few dollars every month, and they're building wealth, and they have their own personal Christmas fund, and there are people investing thousands of dollars because they have that gap, and they're invested in their future. So those are options that you can have, and you still got a few minutes to call in right now and ask your questions. 404-622-4444, 404-622-4444. Find out what you can do. Everybody wants to be entrepreneur. What do you need to do to get your own business going? What do you need to do possibly to have a nonprofit? We got a regular listening caller. He does so much community work, but if he created a nonprofit, people will give him even more money to do the things that he does, and that's a relatively simple solution. Yeah, that's something that you could help with.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, and Brother Law, I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying his name, is a true and real community servant. But, he's recreating the same work and generating continuously, whereas if he had an opportunity to just get a 501c3 going, I think that would change the lives of the many people that he's serving, every day, all day. So, that's where we are with this. So political empowerment, getting financial wealth, and, when you can pay your bills, nobody can tell you nothing. That's just a strength. You stand up straighter. You feel better. You don't mind waking up in the morning because you don't have to worry about answering the phone. You don't have to worry about sneaking to the mailbox, getting those pink letters. You know the ones we talking about.
Well, real quickly, Mr. Avery, because I know we're running out of time, I always want to be applicable to our target audience, which probably doesn't have a budget. They probably got 3 or 4 credit cards that are charged up near the max. They probably missed a few payments. They're probably a month or 2 behind in their car note. They keep hiding it from grandma's garage to somewhere else, not knowing there's a lower jack on that car to locate it, but they're in a tight. How do they get out of that part of the system? That part of the system is dangerous.
It's all about paying attention. The first thing I tell all my clients is, let's get a State of the Union. So what does that mean? Let's go ahead and pull our credit report to see what's on there. You would be surprised. A lot of people don't know all of what they know. A lot of people do not have the usernames and passwords to their various financial accounts. They just have money accumulating, and that ignorance, that lack of knowledge of where things are is actually hurting our community. So the first step is to get the State of the Union to truly understand what you owe. Okay. The second thing is understand, what am I spending? How much am I spending on groceries? How much I'm spending on rent? How much I'm spending on entertainment? Even the expenses that don't happen on a frequent basis like vacation. Create a budget. Estimate all those things. And on a monthly, every single month, like clockwork, make it as tradition as you go to church. Make sure you're tracking what you're spending versus what you're budgeting. And then on a monthly basis, make those adjustments so you can create that gap, create that difference between income and expenses. So that way you can save, and that savings will provide you that emergency fund.
Okay, we do have a call. Caller, you're live and on the air.
Hey. How are y'all?
We're doing
I have
good.
a question. For a young person starting a family, what should I invest in?
Does your employer offer a 401k?
Yes.
Do they offer a match?
Yes, they do.
So let's explain what the match is. So the match is the contribution that the employer makes to your 401k. When you think about a match, think about free money. That is part of your income. A lot of people don't take advantage of that. So if your employer is offering a match, make sure that you're contributing up to that account to the match. I would also, if you're interested in using a financial advisor, definitely reach out to me at 531-333-2745. But if you want an easy-made plan, look into something called a target date retirement fund, which most 401ks are offering. That would be the best starting point when we talk about purely investing. But make sure you have your emergency fund, because if you have a young family, you know things are going to pop up.
Very good question, caller. It looks like we've run out of time. 30 minutes just don't do, but hey, we'll just have to get him back on at the appropriate day and time. In the meantime, thank you, Mr. Avery. We're going to continue to learn how to hack the system. I need you to get that book. It's dynamite. It'll help you have more money in your pocket and less bills in your hand. Keep listening every second and fourth Wednesday. Why, Dr. Collier?
Because your health is important.
We hope you've enjoyed today's conversation with Drs. Miller J. Collier and Marlon V. Jackson. For further information regarding medical information, contact family physician Dr. Miller J. Collier. Call 770-948-5400 for questions on how to make your smile the best part of you. Contact family dentist Dr. Marlon B. Jackson. Call 404-681-3834. Remember, the legend continues. Health care is a right, but good health is a blessing. Tune in every second and fourth Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. right here on WYZE, because your health is important. You better know it.